This is Texans TV.
Today on the show, more on new head coach David Culley, a Senior Bowl breakdown, and Michael Thomas making a difference. Texans 360 is now.
What's going on, baby? Solid? Yeah, man. Look at him.
We are ready to rock. In Houston. Rock and roll.
Oh, let's go!
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something else.
This is Texans 360, and we're so very happy that you're with us. And I, Drew Dougherty, am very happy that you, John Harris, are with us as well. You doing all right, bud?
I'm doing great. Back from Mobile. Really excited to be on the show, Drew.
Yeah, we got a good time planned because a little bit later, we're going to feel and hear what Michael Thomas has done to the community here in Houston as part of his Walter Payton Man of the Year Award nomination. Plus, we're giving away meals to some service members, courtesy of United, and we're going to go one-on-one with a guy who knows quite a bit about new head coach David Culley. But, John, we start things off with the Senior Bowl. You were there in Mobile, Alabama last week, and remind us again why that's such an important week, not just for the Houston Texans, but for everyone in the NFL.
Well, it's the last time you get to see draft prospects actually play football, and that's pretty important, but it's a great meeting area for everybody. It's a little different this year with all the COVID restrictions and things like that, but I thought it was great. Reminded me of a lot of the 7 other times I've gone to the Senior Bowl, so I was really excited to go.
I didn't get to go with you this year, but you and I have gone to quite a few of those down in South Alabama, and I know he's talking about football now, but I think after you see this, you might think this guy needs to be talking about stock markets and Bulls and Bears, and I'm not talking about the Chicago teams. Check this out.
Senior Bowl 2021 is finally over, and now it's time for my new segment, which I love. It's called the Stock Report with me, John Harrison. We're going to talk about offensive stars down in Mobile. Who's the hottest stock out there? Let's go. Next.
Mac Jones, quarterback, Alabama.
How could you not love a guy who threw for 4,500 yards and 1 million touchdowns in his 1 full year as a starter? Yeah, everybody loves Mac Jones. And wait till you see the throw that he makes to Trey McKitty on the over route. It's beautiful. McKitty with the one-hand catch, but the throw, the anticipation, everything is there for a dividend payment coming from Mac Jones. Who's next?
Khalil Herbert, running back, Virginia Tech.
Now, you hear running back, I see pass protection. Twice, Khalil Herbert put linebackers on their backs. And when I tell you how beautiful that is, that's a high-yield stock that you can stone a linebacker and put him on his back. You, my friend, are one of the hottest stocks in the running back class, Khalil Herbert.
Cade Johnson, wide receiver, South Dakota State.
Johnson has not played a game in almost 2 years. He sat out of 2020 because, well, South Dakota State didn't have a season. So what did he do? He accepted an invitation to go down to Mobile, and he dominated, just like Tyler Lockett. And that's exactly who he reminds me of. And who doesn't like Tyler Lockett? Do you not like 103 catches in the season? Do you not like one-handers? If you don't, get out of this show, because Cade Johnson is smoking hot. And when you see that one-hand catch he made against Darren Hall of San Diego State, you'll be on board too with Cade Johnson. He is a superstar in the making and hot. Next.
Quinn Miners, offensive line, Wisconsin Whitewater.
Okay. Miners is amazing. He, like a few others, didn't play in the 2020 season because his school opted for the spring. And this guy walked in the Senior Bowl and nobody knew who he was. He walked out a cult legend. He was fantastic. He is the highest yield stock we have of this offensive group. He puts players on their back every single day. And if you don't think I'm right, go ask Patrick Jones from Pitt, who cried a little crotch chop move on him, and Miners went bang on his back. And that's why he's the hottest stock of all. Quinn Miners from Wisconsin Whitewater. So buy low, sell high. That, my friends, is the 2021 Senior Bowl Stock Report with me, John Harris.
Good stuff there. You definitely have a future on like Kudlow and Kramer or one of those shows. But this is going to be a different process than we've ever experienced when it comes to draft preparation, the run-up to everything on that Thursday night, April 28th in Cleveland, Ohio this year. What are some of the differences you're going to see and we're going to see right off the bat?
Well, I think it's going to be kind of similar to last year in the sense that you won't have we did have a combine last year.
That was like the last thing we did before this all shut down.
Exactly. So there won't be it'll be a virtual combine. How that's going to work, we'll find out. I think the biggest thing that the players will miss and the teams will miss is the centralized medical information that they're able to get at the combine. But they're going to do pro days at various schools and then try and centralize all that information, which is going to be interesting how they pull that off. Last year, we didn't have any pro days. And maybe the first week and a half, I think Clemson's was maybe the last pro day there was. But then after that, they were all shut down. And so there were a lot of players that were looking forward to that pro day to show it off. I remember KJ Hamler at Penn State decided not to run the 40, and I was like, oh man, he was going to run the 4.3 range. Well, then his pro day gets canceled, and I think had he run a 4.3 40, I think he maybe gets drafted a little bit earlier than when he went, which I think was in the third round, something along those lines. So players lost out on that pro day opportunity because they didn't do anything at the combine. They chose to do it at pro day. So this year, no combine to have to worry about. They're going to have pro days. So I'm interested to see how that process works and how teams like us, how we're going to send out people to go watch those pro days or how they're going to do that. It's going to be really interesting to me how that process goes.
We've hit the road to places like Waco, Baton Rouge, College Station, amongst others here in town, U of H and Rice. We've always seen, or a constant has always been Nick Caserio running some sort of drill. Don't know that he's going to be doing that now, but what do you envision Nick Caserio's draft process, draft attack being like?
Well, it's really interesting. I think the one thing that Nick would get out of running those drills, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. I don't know where, but he typically would do it at Texas A&M. I'm sure he did it at other places. It's just a really good way to kind of get hands on a player and see what they're thinking and look them in the eyes and see, do they understand what I'm talking about? Are they taken to my coaching? Are they taken to the teaching? That's one of the things you can get from that because you're up close with those players as opposed to standing over with the rest of us over on the sidelines. Oh, what are they talking about? What's being said? All that kind of stuff. And Nick is a really great teacher. I've watched him a lot in those pro day situations. I think he'll want to be in those situations as long as they're allowed to get in those situations. I think there's a lot to learn from those, being up close and personal with the players.
And when he does do the picking, as it stands now, no first, no second because of the trade with Miami a year or so ago, that stings. However, you've got volume. You have 8 picks overall starting in the third round. What can we expect the Texans to address? Because it's one of those things, you're going to take the best player available at just about any position because, hey, you can do that, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And think a couple years ago when they were able to get Justin Reed and how much he has impacted this organization. They got him in the third round when they didn't have a first or a second back in 2018. To me, as I looked at it, and I saw this at the Senior Bowl, and as I've gone through kind of getting my Harris 100 together, I found myself putting way more offensive players into my Harris 100 than I did defensive players. And so it feels like, and it felt like that in Mobile where the offense was not heavily weighted, but it just felt like most of the players that I really kind of gravitated towards, those are guys I want to put in the Harris 100, were seeming on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know how to look at defense and go, okay, there's a rock solid Jalen Ramsey corner out there. I don't think you have those kind of players. So that can be good or bad for the Texans in that there may not be some high-profile guys, but it does mean that you're going to have some depth maybe in the later rounds that you're going to be able to find players. But it's just going to be a little bit harder, I think, on the defensive side than it is on the offensive side.
All right, that's something to monitor over the next couple months, and definitely going to lean on John for that. But after the break, we're leaning on a guy named Jeff Zrebiec of Baltimore because he knows quite a bit about David Culley. DP Sidhu went one-on-one with him, and that's all next on Texans 360, presented by Kroger. Texans 360 is presented by Kroger, fresh for everyone. We're back. Glad you're back. And this is Texans 360. Drew, John. Hey, first impression of the new head coach, David Culley. What is it?
He is outgoing. I love that. I absolutely love how outgoing he is. And what you hear from everybody is he's a great teacher. And he worked for a coach that I once worked for. So we have that connection too. And if he's anything like George McIntyre, who I coached with, he's going to be a great football coach here.
Good stuff. All right, that's your Reader's Digest version of who David Culley is. DP Sidhu went one-on-one with Jeff Zrebiec out of Baltimore. He's with The Athletic now, and he covers the Ravens. So he gave us his thoughts on Culley.
This week on the Deep Slant One-on-One presented by Xfinity, I've got my guest, Jeff Zrebiec. He's a senior writer for The Athletic Baltimore. We've chatted many times over the years, and this time it's the offseason. And of course, Jeff, the big news in Houston, the Texans announced that they've hired their fourth head coach in franchise history. It's David Culley. He was the assistant head coach, passing game coordinator, wide receivers coach for the Ravens for the past 2 years. So tell me what you know about him. John Harbaugh came out. He was very, very much high praise for Culley in his leadership, the energy that he brought to the team, his teaching abilities. What was it about him that made him so valuable to that Ravens organization, Jeff?
I think, first of all, you just feel happy for a guy like that, has paid his dues, that's been around the NFL for a long time, that's, worked for a ton of really good organizations and Super Bowl winning coaches, and always been known as a loyal, hardworking, professional guy, versatile coach. That's the first thing that jumps out to me.
All right, well, you've covered the Ravens for many, many years. You've covered David Culley for the last 2. So before I let you go, any stories or tidbits or anything that really jumps out to you about David Culley?
Well, 2 things come to mind. One, I'm sure you guys have been in the same situation too, where you walk out on the field for training camp early. I don't know what time the Texans practice. The Ravens usually practice pretty early. And it was almost without fail, Culley was the first voice you heard. He was always coaching, always, having fun, talking to guys, and just being really demonstrative in a positive manner. And that's what, that's one of the things that kind of struck me, just the energy level and the positivity that stands out. And then the other thing was just kind of different. I forgot the exact situation, but this past summer, everybody's availability was a little bit off with the COVID. I'm sure you guys had the same. And there's one day where John Harbaugh wasn't available. It wasn't his turn to speak to the media afterwards, but it was, they bring up assistants periodically. And David Culley, it was his day. And Lamar Jackson happened not to be on the field, which when the starting quarterback's not practicing, it always gets attention, especially when the guy's the reigning MVP. And I just remember them putting Culley up, and I'm like, this poor guy, he's going to get barraged with questions about where Lamar is and what's going on. And he handled it great. He handled it like a head coach, and he said the right things. I'm sure the organization was pretty pleased with kind of how he put out the fire while handling it professionally. He conducted the press conference like he was a head coach. And obviously, we don't want to make too much of ourselves here, but dealing with the media is a part of the job. I mean, it can be a frustrating part of the job for head coaches. So he showed me in that area that, he's calm, positive, and that kind of came across in that interview. And I was kind of really impressed how he handled it.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for the time. Always a pleasure catching up with you, Ravens, Texans, and all things NFL related. Enjoy the rest of the offseason, and we'll catch up again soon.
Great. Thanks for having me.
After the break, a deeper look at why Michael Thomas is up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Texans 360 rolls on.
Outside Texas Children's West Campus. We were surprised this afternoon. We're given Super Bowl tickets to go to Tampa and to watch the Super Bowl, which is incredibly exciting and a thrill for all of us.
I feel grateful and so excited to be chosen. Once in a lifetime opportunity. I never would have imagined that this would happen, and I'm just so excited to go and experience this firsthand.
Showing appreciation for what we do at the bedside and being able to, accept something like this and going forward, it's just validation for what we do.
Really taken aback that we get to have this opportunity and represent Texas Children's, and people just kind of get to see more what we do. And I think that's the good that came out of all of this.
Seeing that we're in Tampa Bay, this is history in the making. I'm probably going to have to root for the home team, so I'll probably be rooting for the Tampa Bay Bucks, but I'll be wearing my Texans gear.
congrats to those folks. They're going to be at Super Bowl Sunday, which, depending on when you're watching this, is either today or tomorrow. But I'm Drew Dougherty. You're John Harris. This is Texans 360 coming at you from the Ford Studios. And a guy who was the Walter Payton Man of the Year award nominee from the Texans, Michael Thomas. I'm bummed we didn't get to see more of him on the football field last year because this guy is one of the greatest special teams players in the league. And back when he was at Aldine, did you know his nickname? It's Jacob the Juker. He played football and did everything, and he ran through defenses. They called him Jacob the Juker, but he was pretty fun to talk with this year.
Well, I'm glad when you look at a Walter Payton Award nominee that is from the city of Houston. You and I are both from here. See Michael Thomas from here. Very, very cool. You mentioned Aldine. A lot of great football players out there. Michael Thomas has shown that he's much more than that.
He sure is. And this is a little snippet of who he is and why he was the nominee. Impactful, inspirational, loving. These words fittingly describe Texans safety Michael Thomas. With 8 NFL seasons and a Pro Bowl appearance between the white lines, it's Thomas's off-the-field actions that have actually defined him.
Daddy, thank you for being yourself and being a great person.
It's such an honor to be nominated as the Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Houston Texans. You think about all the guys in this locker room who do amazing things off the field, and they were worthy of this, this nomination. And I just got here, but to get that respect from my teammates, to get that respect from this organization to nominate me, it's humbling. All I ever wanted to do was take all the resources I've been given, all the knowledge I've been given, and give it back to the people and to the communities I come from. Definitely education is something that means a lot to me. I've always tried to give financial literacy to the youth. I've tried to make sure they had SAT, ACT prep so that they had all the opportunities afforded to them to try to get into college. I'm gonna pedal, stay smooth, I'll slow it down. Then I'll speed it, slow down.
The Houston native returned home to Aldine in his off seasons so he could host his annual camp.
Stay low the whole time you moving, you feel me?
In the summer of 2018, at the same place where Thomas started his football dream, another kid's dream of a college education was set in motion.
I'm giving away my inaugural, my first scholarship, academic scholarship to one of the graduating seniors.
It was insane, especially because at that point I didn't know what I was going to do specifically with college and where I was going to live and stuff like that, and that really put me in a good position. Well, I'm double majoring. I'm doing business and public administration, finishing up some classes right now before I go to transfer back to U of H. And what I'm trying to do is I want to do some role in public office, city managing and stuff like that, and I want to do that while also trying to work to start my own business.
Now, 2 years later, Michael had one more surprise.
My little bro Tobias, he went to Nimitz as well, so getting a chance to reconnect with him, you feel me? I don't want to mess up the beauty shop, but there he is. What's good, baby? There he is. What's up with you? What's going on, baby? Solid? Good. Yeah, man. Look at him, dude. How you liking UTSA?
Realest person I ever met. I'm trying to tell you that money helped me so much in terms of my education.
If you need anything, reach me, hit me, bro. You got my number. It ain't nothing but love, dog.
I appreciate you, bro. He's down to earth, and it's crazy considering that when you think about it, he's in the NFL, so he probably deals with so many big people and stuff like that every day. But when you talk to him, you wouldn't be able to tell. It looks like he still lives in Humble. He acts the same way. You know what I'm saying? He's real cool, down to earth, happy, glowing guy for sure.
And that glow shines brightly on so many others.
Congratulations, Mike, on your Walter Payton Man of the Year nomination.
He is truly a Man of the Year, a Walter Payton Man of the Year.
I love you, and we all are extremely, extremely proud of you.
And we'd just like to congratulate you, Michael, and continue to keep God first, and God bless you.
Congratulations, I am so proud of you.
What better person than you than to be nominated for Man of the Year? You're not only great in the community, but you are such a leader and an inspiration and a role model to my kids and me myself at home.
I just want to keep making them proud, and that's it, man. Keep helping out my family and keep helping out everybody else, man. That's it, man.
In just a bit, United Airlines and the Texans team up to feed the troops. That's next on Texans 360. Texans 360 is presented by Kroger, fresh for everyone. Back here on Texans 360, Drew Dougherty, John Harris, and boy, it's fun to see good people get rewarded, isn't it?
Absolutely nothing better in this world.
Yeah, we saw the Super Bowl tickets get to the frontline workers earlier in the show, and now let's take a look at what United Airlines has done for our armed services folks.
We're at the Armory located on Rankin Road, celebrating the USO's 80th anniversary of keeping the military-connected family home and country no matter where their service takes them. We're able to work together and highlight some of our community partners like the Houston Texans, along with United Airlines. The Houston Texans have been a huge community partner supporting our military and keeping them intrigued and involved with their activities along with some of the programs that they're able to support. It's been a huge blessing to have so many great opportunities to work with them, and working with their team has been amazing for our service members and their families. It's awesome for today to have the Houston Texans and United Airlines to come out and provide lunch to our service members and to celebrate our 80th anniversary of the USO.
Seeing that video on meals makes me think of what you eat Super Bowl Sunday. What's your go-to?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like my wife's chicken quesadillas.
Well, that sounds good. I like that. Maybe a little chips and queso.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go with some wings. Love that. Yep. We're going to be eating that at the Dougherty household on Super Bowl Sunday. But we really appreciate all of you watching Texans 360. We do it for you. You're the reason we're here. So thank you very much for checking out this program. Thank you, John, for all that you do. Can't wait to see the Harris 100 coming out in the next few months. And there's a lot more content on HoustonTexans.com and the Texans mobile app. For Tyler Marcotte, Mitchell Moreland, Nick Patterson, and a whole host of others who put this show together, I'm Drew Dougherty. We'll see you next time. Until then, go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.